welcome for another great episode of Let's Talk 1943. I'm so happy for you to join us today. You have me, the host, Regina Smithwick. You have my partner in crime, producer and co-host, Carla Morgan. And we have a special guest today is going to enlighten us about organization. We got Cathy Perez. We're going to go ahead and talk. So just give me a moment. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. So let me do a formal introduction to our guest, Cathy Perez. Cathy is a certified health and eating and weight loss coach. She's a certified yoga instructor and the 159th worldwide certified Konmari organization consultant. Now that is a big deal. If y'all don't know about that system of that, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of studying. It's a lot to be. And she's the 159th, so you know it's not a lot of them out there. So I would like to welcome Cathy Perez to our show. Welcome.
Hello, ladies. It's a pleasure and an honor. Thank you so much. I'm just so happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here too. You know, as a fellow organization person myself, a professional organizer as I am, it's good to have someone up here to kind of ping back stuff with and talk about, especially you're on a whole nother level. Like you're on a wholly different level on organization than I am. You put faith base in it. You tell us how it correlates, how it works, it goes together. So we're going to definitely just jump into that and see how we could help our audience as we do empower, uplift, and motivate. So before we get started, I always start with a prayer. So just give me a moment. Lord Heavenly Father, thank you, as I always say, for you using us as a vessel to be able to help our audience, as I said, empower, uplift, and motivate, and hopefully and pray that this segment or this episode would help people organize their lives, not just with their clutter or their items, but with their mind, body, and spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. So we're going to dig right in here. So tell me exactly, what is your why? Like, what made you decide to get into organization in the way that you do? Not just organization, but the way that you organize.
Absolutely. And let me just say that you are phenomenal. So you did it out of necessity. You became a professional organizer just because you're like, I can do this and I'm going to help others. It took me a long time to get to it wasn't innate, so to speak. But the quick and dirty version is I've always been organized. A friend introduced me to the book. I don't have Netflix, so I didn't even know what, Anyway, I read the book and like the first chapter I was done. I was like, I want to do this. And so I started reading the book. I went through the whole little tidying festival, but then I read her other books and then all of a sudden it was like this craze. And then I found out that you could get, basically become her ambassador, i.e. Marie Kondo, who is the founder and the creator of the Konmari Method. And I'm like, I'm there. Like, this is me. This is who I am. So when I was going through my own time festival, it actually helped my anxiety get even to a lower neutral. So I have dealt with anxiety disorder pretty much all my life. But when I went through this, my own time festival, it just became so apparent that the joy that I was creating through this method ended up really basically where there is joy and gratitude, which is the whole method, you cannot have anxiety. You cannot, well, I shouldn't say you should not experience high anxiety like I would. And so what I realized is that my neutral anxiety was just slowly dropping. And then I'm like, yeah, I want other people to be able to feel this as well. So it was out of my own curiosity, but then I just realized, I'm like, this is how I can help people. And so I was in person, and then we all know what happened. But then even before that, I knew I could not scale that way. I wanted to get the message out about how to utilize this method. And so that's how I got here.
And like I said, from seeing the show and seeing the classes that you had to do and take, it takes you to another level. Like your whole mind game. It's like you have to really focus And you got to really practice this, and you have to change before you even try to change someone else when you do this, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, my Time Festival became the catalyst. So there is a whole little, basically a whole procedure that you go through to become certified. The first thing you get to do, the first task is you get to complete your own Time Festival. And so I completed mine, and then I realized, oh my gosh, other people get to do this as well. And so then you get to basically go to their seminar, it's a 2-day seminar. Then
Mm-hmm.
you take a test, exam, then you collectively have clients. But what I noticed again is that there is the end result of when you go through a Time Festival KonMari style is that you have this now KonMari mind, and that is what's it's taking organization from just a mundane sort of task,
Mm-hmm.
and it's elevating it to a spiritual movement
Okay.
because it is touching you. You get to experience joy. And most Western thinking people don't think of that as necessarily important. But where there is joy, like I said before, where you have gratitude, which is the crux of the Konmari Method,
Mm-hmm.
when you experience gratitude, you can't at the same time have anxiety and fear. They don't
Right.
fit together. Your brain doesn't do that. So ultimately, what happens is that you start to cultivate an attitude of gratitude consistently, which means now what was once troubling you probably isn't going to anymore because now everything is supporting you on a vibration level, i.e., if you want to take it to the spiritual level, that's exactly what it does. Because now, what is prayer? It's gratitude.
Right.
And now you've experienced that, and I'm not taking away anything from those of us who pray. I mean, that's very powerful. But now you've experienced your actual surroundings all supporting you, and that
Right.
spiritual level elevates on every turn.
So if you want to be productive, because you were saying about, the anxiety goes down, your productivity goes up. So from me, when I teach organization to others, to me it feels, if you're and if your place is cluttered and disorganized, that's your mind. You can't do, some people like, no, it's just an organized mess. No, it's not. That's where your mind goes.
Yep.
I mean, it sounds cute. Organized mess sounds real cute, but when you
Right.
really think about it, you know, especially biblically, it's like, godliness is cleanliness, being clean, and being organized. It goes together. So if your mind is not together, you're going to show it in your actions, in the way you live. So if you live disorganized, your mind is disorganized. So you kind of, it's hard because you don't want to tell people, but yet you got to tell people because you're not
Yeah.
trying to be, funny with it, but you being truthful, like it is. And, everybody got moments. Everybody got moments. Everybody got a junk drawer. Everybody got something they could just be free with and just throw stuff in and don't have to be
Yeah.
like, I don't have to fix everything. Get a
Mhm.
junk drawer just to have that. But your life will be so much in order, and you'll see so much productivity if you are organized, right?
Right.
It takes a lot at first, but if you maintain it, it's easy to keep up.
Right. And to add on to that, when you're so here's a statistic, and please cut me off if we're losing time, but a statistic I always talk about, and I
Mhm.
talk about it to entrepreneurs or career minded people, whatever the case is. The statistic is in North America, 55 minutes on average every day is wasted looking for something.
Wow.
That equates to over a 2-week vacation in a year.
For
Are
looking
you
for
being
stuff.
productive
Mhm.
for
Wow.
55 minutes out of your day when you're looking for something? Mm-mm.
Yeah.
You're not focused. And then I read somewhere else in a Brendon Burchard book, High Productive Habits, that once you've lost your concentration because of a distraction, i.e., your peripheral has picked up that there's clothes on the floor, or your peripheral has picked up that something is not where it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
To get that back, if you're really focused, it's gonna take, like, you've lost 50% of your productivity when you try to get back to that task,
Right.
especially if it's high productive or like
Wow.
concentration.
All right, so let's do this. I'm going to ask you a couple questions, but before we do that, let's give our audience something to work with. Like, what would you tell someone who is fresh out the gate and you want them to kind of start this process? What's the first thing you'll tell them?
So, um, I'm going to fall back on obviously what I know, which is the Konmari method. What I'm going to ask them is, you can look at whatever is around you and you can keep it if you so choose. However, it's going to find a home. Right. And it's going to have a home every single time you use it, so that your brain knows where to get it. And now you save yourself excess time, because your brain wants to go from A to B, and it doesn't have to think anymore about where are the pencils. It's like, no, wait, there's only one place for the pencils. I go to it. You don't think about it even. So everything's going to get at home, one way or another.
Now, that's the way I operate. If you know me, I keep my keys in the same place, my pocketbooks in the same place. I'll know everything I do. I keep, even if I stay at your house, everything in the next day will be in the same place it was the day before. Like, I don't leave stuff all over the place. Like, I always repack everything, put it back in the suitcase. I lay everything back on top, because it's easy for me to know I didn't, first of all, leave stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or it helps me feel better. I feel better when I make my bed every morning. When I feel I feel like I completed something, right?
Yes.
Don't you feel weird if you leave your bed looking crazy?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I have to do it. It's automatic, and then when it is, it's like, you
feel you done something, right?
Yeah, and it's part of a routine. As soon as I get out the bed for the day, that's immediately what I do. Make the bed up. I don't wait. Yeah. And if something distracts me, it takes me away. I feel horrible.
Yeah.
I got to make that bed.
You got to. And I feel when you make your bed, you actually did something off the checklist. You feel you did something positive already when you make your bed. And when you keep your room clean, right, your day starts off, to me, better. I don't even know how not to make my bed. I mean, my father had me making my bed from day one. Like, I don't even know how not to make my bed. I can't leave my room. Even if I lay down, take a nap, I'll get up, I will pull the sheets tight, or like I'll pull the comforter tight so I can put it back the way it was, like, and put the pillows back the way they were, or if it's like, if my bed is messy, I'll have to make it before I go to bed. I got to make it, then get in the bed.
Yeah. I like to come into a room that's ready to receive me after a long day.
Oh, I like that. A room that's ready to receive you.
After a long day. The bed's made and ready for me to pull back the cover. It's a whole thing.
Nice, cool, crisp sheets.
Yep. I can slide in it. Yep.
You slide in.
Yep.
It's like you get into a bed, it's messy. It feels like my sleep. I feel hot.
Yeah.
I feel so like disorganized. Like, I can't get into a bed that's not made. It just don't feel. So that is all mine, right, Cathy? Like, that's your mind.
Yep. It wants order, and it doesn't want to have to think about anything. So it's so interesting that you would say that, and it's because, just as you said, that you make your bed, because in the first thing in the morning, the whole day can go south, but you made your bed so you accomplished something positive and productive. So your brain can't say, your brain now has proof that you're capable, you can be focused, you can be reliable, and you can have a supportive environment. That takes your brain into a better position for the rest of the day.
So it's not even, and ladies and gentlemen, I know this seems like a simple, make your bed is no big deal. It is a big deal, because it deals with your mind. Your mind, you're telling your mind how your day is going to go from day one. And when you do something and complete it, it actually feels like you've been productive already before you leave your house. Your whole day will start walking into that purpose. Like, it will just start doing right. And so making your bed, for everyone who don't know how to start it with making your bed every day. That's it. Just make your bed every day first, and you'll see how you feel. And after you do that, you can add something else to the list. So that's great. Like, that's a good beginning.
Yeah, it's just like,
keep your mind right.
Right. Go ahead. Just remember how you feel after that, like the feeling you feel, and then when you come home and you see it's made, it's like, it feels good. I'm gonna do this again tomorrow and the next day. Like, I like the way this feels.
This feels good. But I mean, even Cathy, like if you go into your room, and like you said, that's your oasis, right? Your bedroom's supposed to be a place of like peace, right? So if you go in there with a chaotic room, how do you sleep? How do you feel focused when you sleep in chaos?
You don't, and it's interesting because it's not just like what we would call like it's all in your head. It literally is. Our subconscious, its only purpose in life is to keep us safe. Well, when things are in disarray, it doesn't feel safe, and so it's not going to let you sleep. It's going to keep you up. It's going to do everything it can to make sure you're alert when you should be sleeping, because it's like this doesn't feel right. Nothing is where it should be. I better keep her up so that she can be on alert.
Wow. I didn't think of it that way.
Wow.
So your body goes, wait a minute, something about to pop off. let me translate it. Something's about to pop off. I need you to keep you up so you can be ready to get out. Like, up.
That's exactly what it is.
I can't hear. We can't hear you.
I don't know if you muted or not. Okay, she's muted now, but
I think it's earpiece. I think
Oh.
it's
Can
an
you hear me okay now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I was basically saying that I believe that you caught me when I said that. I forgot what I said now about oh, darn it, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Are you talking about with the bedroom and the oasis and keeping you up?
Right, and your brain, your prefrontal cortex is the younger part of our brain, and so 97% of our decisions are made automatically. They're subconscious. So our fight or flight system works 24/7, right? But what happens is it doesn't calm down. So it takes people's anxiety up when things are at disarray, because just like you said, things might pop off, and I best be ready. And so you're never going to have rest because everything is not in its place. The brain literally is telling you, you best be on alert because something's going to happen. So.
And I guess when you have rest, sometimes we think we're resting when we sleep, but a lot of times our sleep is not deep. REM sleep is actually like that shallow sleep. So if you are going to sleep, like, well, that's not true because I sleep every night. Yeah, you may sleep, but you don't really REM sleep. And sometimes you get up groggy and sleepy and tired because you're not sleeping fully.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this all makes so much sense. It really does. I think a lot of us think junk and clutter is no big deal. And it is. It really defines your life and how you handle things. Like I think most people that I know that are very successful, a lot of them don't have a lot of stuff. So let's talk about that. A lot of them don't have a lot of stuff. The richest people that we know, if you see their houses is like completely like almost halfway empty looking. And they wear the same clothes, the same type of shirts. They only got a couple pair of pants, couple shirts, because we talked about this before on our show. When you know who you are and when you are good at who you are, you're not trying to impress people. So you're not out there buying all this crap to try to look good all the time. I'm not saying you're not supposed to look good. They look presentable, but they don't go out the way to buy all this stuff to impress others. They just good with who they are. So they don't need a lot of stuff. So their houses are not full with a lot of stuff. So what do you think about that?
No, it's totally true. Warren Buffett, as an example, lives in the same house that him and his wife got married, right? They're in the same house. The man, talk about millions and trillions, but it's because people who are successful, they realize they want as few decisions as possible, taking up their mental capacity. And so when they have the same type of clothes, they don't have to make silly decisions like that. When they use the same items and they're in the same place and it's sparse, they don't have to make multiple decisions so that their creativity can be off the chain, right, all the time. Whereas people who have a lot of stuff, what they don't understand is that item or all those items bringing me joy? And it's important to understand that when you can understand what is around you matters, is it actually sending your vibrations higher or is it taking you down? So it's not about how much stuff you have. It's about what few items do I actually require to live a joyful and happy life and be focused and productive. I think the last 2 years have taught us, hopefully, how very little we actually require, not only to be happy, but to be extremely productive and to actually enjoy what we're doing.
You hit something on that one because we actually talked about this before. We talked about the buying all this stuff and having all this stuff to oppress others. And
Hmm.
really what you're doing is not really getting to the core of your issues. You're more or less trying to, like kind of using the band-aid method, is trying to cover up by buying all. And there's nothing wrong with having nice stuff, because we
No.
all like nice things. But when
Okay.
you over assess, like, they say in your closet, most people don't wear but 20% of their closet. Like, they don't even go on the back of it and look. They don't even go back there and look at stuff.
Me
They wear the
either.
same thing over and over again.
Yeah. I could testify to that. I have a nice walk-in closet. I'm barely in there. Everything I need is in my drawers. I'm just like, and it's been like that since the pandemic, and I haven't gone back to that because I work from home anyway. But I'm just saying, yeah, I don't go. I got stuff in my closet that I got to get rid of that I don't even wear anymore, and I don't even go in there hardly. Yeah.
And see, and then like you said, the last 2 years, that's what happened. A lot of us, well, I've been working from home, but working from home changes your whole wardrobe. You don't, I don't need all those work clothes anymore. And
Right.
even people who are working, like, it changed so much the last 2 years. Even people that are working at jobs, they're so lenient now with the dress codes, and because they don't want to stress you out. So a lot of people are able to go to work comfortable and don't have to be all, and a lot of people don't wear heels no more. A lot of people got rid of heels and they wearing sneakers with dresses now. And so it's changed a lot in the last 2 years about clothing in general. But I would say it is spring cleaning time. A lot of people are starting to do their spring cleaning. They starting to switch their clothes like I do. Twice a year I switch my clothes out. I take my winters, put them upstairs, bring down. So last year I did good. I got rid of a lot of stuff. I didn't wear it the year before. I got rid of it. So I got rid of a lot of clothes, and I'm gonna do it again with my winter clothes. If I haven't wore it, I'm not saying because it's pandemic time, there's certain things I know I'm gonna wear, but I just couldn't because we ain't go nowhere. But it's something I like. Look, I ain't worn this in like 3 years. I'm gonna get rid of it.
Right.
There's no sense of keeping it. You're not even gonna miss it because you're not even, So I don't think you're gonna miss it. You had said something about a job. I'm gonna go back when we had talked before. You had said um, about organizing, how organization will help you when you are doing a career move.
Mhm.
Talk about that, please.
Absolutely. So I think that it's important to understand that the more focus we have in general, the more clarity we will just project. Our
Mm-hmm.
brain wants simple, and it wants to be as simplistic as possible. So when we have more clarity, just in general on a daily basis, our decisions become easier and quicker, right? So when it becomes clear, as many people did, right, the Great Resignation, that what they were doing wasn't bringing them any joy, it wasn't conducive to how they wanted to live,
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing to distract people, really, right? We were
Mm-hmm.
basically in our little boxes, and we had a lot of time to think. And so when people have an organized location, whether that's personal, professional, your brain can get from A to B a lot quicker. And so again, clarity will come about a lot faster. And what that then does is that it validates those gut instincts. And when you're ready to make a move, there's no hesitation because there's no feeling of guilt. There's no feeling of trepidation because your fear level has gone down so low because you trust your instincts finally. There's enough around you that it's supporting literally, it's supporting your thought process, but
Mm-hmm.
it's supporting you on a vibrational level. Everything around you should be there. And so you can think clearly and you can actually think on higher levels of like, okay, if I do this, and this will happen, but you're not doing so from a place of lack. You're doing so from a place of abundance. That
Oh.
changes how you think completely about a decision you're going to make.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're coming from a place of abundance, your whole vibration changes, i.e., because your environment has supported you in that decision. It's all scientifically proven. I mean, it sounds woo-woo, but it's coming from your head. Totally.
And even when you said about the decision making period, most Mark Zuckerberg and Warren Buffett and um,
Jay-Z. Yeah.
Jay Z, he's another one. A lot of people decide that they're going to make decisions for things that's going to really make a difference.
Yeah.
And picking out clothes is not really, because your brain doesn't know. Decisions are just decisions in your brain. Your brain doesn't know a clothes decision and making $1 million decision. It knows it's just decisions. So they go, well, if I have like a gas tank of decisions every day, I need to make sure it lasts. So I'm not going to use my gas in picking out outfits. I'm going to use my gas to make multi-million-dollar deals up in this boardroom. And
Right.
so I don't want to fatigue myself, because if you really think about it, when you like planning weddings, planning events, you get drained, right? That's why everybody gets at the end, they drained out, they tired, and you didn't really do nothing physical, but you had to make a lot of decisions: the dress, the venue, the list, the. That's why people get at the end of wedding like, I just can't wait till this is over, because your brain is tired of making decisions.
Yeah.
So imagine that, making these decisions on like an outfit, like, oh, I'm gonna wear, like we watching Legally Blonde. That's like one of my favorite movies though. And she's in there and she's pulling that remote control, and all the clothes are going around, and she's trying to figure out what she's gonna pick, and she's in there for hours just trying to figure out an outfit. Like, think about it. Like, you're draining yourself before you even go out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so I really believe that we need to start really putting things together and stop trying to separate things, like it's not, like, oh no, that's just, no, everything kind of works together, and it makes you who you are, and it tells you how your day is going to go and everything. So we got to start putting it together and realizing what's happening here. So that's why I wanted Cathy on the show, because and we're going to talk about the spiritual part now. So the faith part, tell me how organization, being organized, faith, how's that? Because I know it's like peace equals faith and clean home, correct?
Oh, absolutely. It's in the Bible. Now, I unfortunately I cannot think of the passage, but it's in there. I was listening to it on the Bible in a Year podcast, so I heard it. It's there. But that whole idiom that cleanliness is next to godliness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a reason for that. It talks about even organization, and what you're doing is, again, something that's kind of foreign to Western thinking is that everything that we own, this is the Japanese influence through that method, the Konmari Method. Everything has a soul. Literally, everything has energy, right?
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
when you have everything possible that you require, right, around you, it's sending your vibration higher and higher, and it's literally lifting your spirit. So that, and it's because you're showing gratitude. Everything you possibly have around you, you're grateful for. And whether it's a pair of scissors, whether it's your favorite dress, it's all supporting you and it's bringing you joy, and you're grateful. Well,
Mm-hmm.
gratitude, again, sends your vibration a lot higher. When you're in a state of gratitude, you will live in abundance. And those of us who obviously, believe in the higher power, we realize that when we pray, we're showing gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Well, imagine I'm praying all the time, but just imagine how I feel when everything around me, I have very little around me. So there is no distractions. I'm going to pray. But when I'm picking up something, I'm actually very grateful for it.
Right.
That is sending organization into a totally different level, because spiritually you understand what it means to be joyful, but also what it means to be grateful on a constant basis. That's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. So if it's not bringing you joy, I did see that on the show when she was telling them, like, do this bring you joy? And they actually had to think about it. It was like, no, not really. Well, you don't need to keep it. So you really think about a lot of stuff in your closet. Does everything bring you joy? You just wear things. I don't think everything brings you joy that's in your closet. So you can probably get rid of a lot of stuff because you want to wear things that actually brings your spirit up. I'm getting what you're saying now. So you want to be able to wear things that brings your spirit up and gives you a good feeling when you wear it, right? Your favorite sweater or your favorite pair of jeans, or but if you're just wearing stuff just because whatever, that's how you're gonna feel, right? Is that what you're saying? I'm just making.
Yeah, that's that's one component of it. Another component is that I mentioned scissors, right? There's nothing spiritual about scissors, right? But when you think about it on the Konmari level, you kept those scissors for a reason, because they have purpose. They are serving you in some way. So there's no joy necessarily that comes from using the scissors, However, I am grateful for the scissors. One, I knew what they were, and two, I completed something. It was of service to me, and so I get to give it thanks and put it back where it belongs so that it can serve me again. So again, everything has respect, and we don't. Again, it's a Western. We don't get that in the Western thinking that everything should be given respect. But when you do so, it changes how you see everything, including what you use. You're not going to be flinging things. You're not going to be so, willing to throw things away. Well, I shouldn't say that, but like being more meaningful
Mm-hmm.
and thankful for how or what you have, and seeing if you can make it last longer, right? Or, the whole idea of recycling, reusing, upcycling, all that kind of stuff has a different flavor to it for sure when you have that gratitude always exuding from you.
So when I watched the show, it seemed like to me it's going to take about 18,000 hours for you to go through all your stuff in your house and see if you are enjoy or not. Because I seen them, and I'm like, she took every piece of clothing, t-shirts and all, socks and all, and she was like, "Do you get joy with this?" You're like, "No." "Do you get joy with that?" You're like, "No." Like, how long does it take her to go through each piece?
So understand that is like the method, like it's for shock value to get your head thinking, right? But, and I will put the but in there, and I should say better, and not everyone is expected to just take all their stuff out at once, right? I actually have my clients do so in the groupings that we have. We have subcategories, right? So you work first with your tops. Okay, so we're going to collectively get all your tops and you're going to go through them. Then you're going to hit the next sub. In other words, it's not quite the shock value that you might see that you saw, in the show, but the idea is that it actually becomes easier and easier. It becomes more familiar to your brain. And so your brain actually starts to literally expect it. And what happens, the end result, is that there's intention behind everything you buy now. There is no more impulsive buying. There is no reason to, you visually, like literally, you visually know what you have around you. So you will not compulsive buy, you will not impulsive buy, and you will definitely not, get stuff that you don't necessarily want or require anymore, because your brain's like, oh no, you don't. I want order, and I like order. And you have 5 pairs of shoes. You don't need those right now. So it changes. It's like literally cognitive behavior therapy, because you will not go to the shopping mall are there any shopping malls? You will not hit the Prime button quite so much.
Yeah, that's still shopping malls.
Your brain literally tells everything about you now. I want order. I want simple. I want to be able to make decisions lickety split. And you buying stuff without really requiring anything, that's not going to be helpful. So it starts to change how you make decisions, literally. And it's to your benefit. And your gratitude grows, which means you're living in abundance, which means the stuff that you thought you needed, you probably don't really need much of anything now, because you have what you require to bring you the joy and to bring you the more clarity and focus that you want to be a more productive human.
Now I know a lot of people, they go, instead of spending a lot of money, they'll go to like a thrift store or vintage store and places and buy items, and they like a fraction of the cost of the actual item, so they end up buying a lot more things because they're not spending as much money. But they feel they saving money and they're not spending a lot of money on it, so what's the big deal?
Right.
That's one way to do it. I think that you're talking to someone who is definitely a minimalist, from the viewpoint that I will shop at thrift hand or secondhand stores simply because I realize it's recycling, so to speak. But I think it's interesting that people could use that as an excuse to buy more. But again, once you've gone through that mind, like literally your neural pathways have changed, and so your brain was like, I don't care where you're going. I don't care what you're buying. If you don't really require it, you're not going to get it. So like you have this dialogue now going on that your brain is telling you, really? Do you really need this? I don't think so.
Exactly.
So it's interesting what happens, because in the course of going through your Time Festival, you might not notice it right away, but once you finish and now your brain has recalibrated, and it loves having this clarity and this simplicity around it, it's really quite honed in on what is necessary, because now it doesn't have to work so hard to keep you safe. And so it's going to do everything in its power to keep you in that state, and doing so to your benefit.
Wow. And so I know it's another thing we had discussed is if you're not good steward on the items that you have, how can God bless you with more?
That is very true. And I think, yeah, and I think it kind of just plays off of the fact that when you show gratitude, like I think about, kids, and they get all these different, toys for whatever reason, whatever the occasion is.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 hours later, they're either using, the shoebox to play with, or a month later, that toy is no longer being used.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think to yourself, okay, if that child has like little or no use for this item,
Mm-hmm.
then how do I think that having all this other stuff around me is really helping me?
Yeah.
Right? We don't look at it that way, but when we impulsive buy things, we don't realize that what we're feeding is something else. But really what we should be asking ourselves is, why do I believe I require this? When really it's not necessary. What is it serving? What is its purpose outside of, making me feel good? When really, maybe we're going to end up feeling guilty about it. So I would prefer to think of, okay, why do I need to go get something? Like, your brain wants you to think about, okay, is this necessary? And if it's not, what's the alternative? Like, how can I make myself grateful or happy, or, what is around me that I can actually use? So being inventive even becomes a little bit easier. I shouldn't say inventive, but maybe a little bit more, forward thinking or creative.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what word I'm trying to look for, but basically what I'm saying is that when you start looking at your decisions in the way that, when I bring this to my home, what is it going to do for me?
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to feel about it? Because guilt is, I'm going to say, 90% of why people don't have a better relationship with their environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply guilt. They either bought something because they were feeling guilty about something, or they maybe were given something by a relative, right? And it's sitting there simply because out of guilt, they can't get rid of it. So when you have more joy with the items around you, everything is serving you, you don't have guilt. There's no reason to feel guilt. And that's big.
Right. Yeah. So, and now I'm thinking about how I was with my children at Christmas time. And because when I was a child at Christmas time, you get a lot of toys and everything else. And I just think it just continues going through generation. And I actually told my children, I said, I wish I'd known better back then. Because if I'd known better, the money I've been spending on this stuff, I've been putting into you for a Roth IRA, a CD. I was taught you how to invest. I mean, I would give you a couple pieces of, a couple things for you to have. But
Right.
I would not have done all that. I would not waste all that money buying all those toys that literally they didn't really value the toys
No.
because they just played with them for a little while, and they had so many that they couldn't even, like, some stuff was still in the box months later and they didn't even touch it.
Right.
And it's not their fault.
No.
You the one is buying it for them. But if you kind of train them from the beginning, be like, look, y'all gonna get three or four toys each, and that's it. And the other money's gonna go towards, and we're gonna do this or do that or whatever with the money, and teach the value of money from the beginning.
Right.
It'll be easier for them to understand as they get older. And now my children's about to be 18 in a couple months, and I'm doing catch up with them because I didn't do that when they were younger. So the last 2 years I've been really on them, like, I'm not buying you none of that stuff. I'm not buying you not another game. I'm not buying you because y'all need to learn how to be productive. Y'all are 18, y'all going to college, you got to learn how to pay bills. I'm not buying you. You can't afford a game. No more games. That's comes when you get your job and you afford to buy your own game. You have enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I know they're like, what in the world? Like, I didn't deserve this. I know it was my bad. Your dad, we shouldn't have done that. But we done what we was given too. We
Yeah.
was taught
Right.
that. And
Mhm.
their parents were taught that. Like, Christmas, you're supposed to get all this stuff. And I really believe that we kind of started the monster, you know what I'm saying? Of having, and especially like name brand stuff. When we was college, when we were younger, the Cabbage Patch doll was it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
parents
didn't
were
get one.
literally out there boxing. They was punching each other lights out to get this
Yeah.
Cabbage Patch doll in the
Yeah.
mall. Like, fighting
Yep.
to get a doll just to sit home, and they told you couldn't take it out the plastic.
Nope.
You couldn't play with it.
It
You
was a
got
collector's
it.
item. Right.
You got it, and it was sitting on people with dust this thick, sitting on people's counters and stuff, like, because they got the doll, but they wasn't able to open it because you had to save it.
Yeah.
Think about how stupid that was. You fought people, literally almost got locked up, to bring a doll home to your kid and say, you better not open it. You put it on a shelf. And then literally, I saw dust about this thick on people's Cabbage Patch that they still haven't opened.
That's right.
And now you run out of money, and you take that same doll and selling it to get money to pay for stuff that you shouldn't even bought the doll for 25 years ago about anyway. Because you know what I'm saying? Because you still had the same habits you had back then. So every generation has something that they did like that. The little Beanie Babies, or the hottest toy of the year. You got to go. I mean, people out there literally knocking themselves out.
Yeah.
So that tells you, from what I'm learning from you tonight, the process of thinking about your things is totally warped. Totally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I definitely, it's not to like scold anyone and make people feel bad, because we only knew what we knew, right? It's a generational type of, as a health coach, this saying is very poignant to me. Diseases run in families because habits run in families, or diets run in families, right? So it's a generational culture, okay? So I'm not going to, despair what people before me did, because that's what they knew, right?
That's all they knew.
Now that I know, though, where I'm coming from, and, how to present myself in a different manner, then guess what? I get to choose. And it's so funny, because people may think I'm the most horrible person in the world. You get to choose that. I have not given gifts on special occasions for probably now almost 20 years. When I give a gift, it's random, and it's because it means something so very... Now, again, there's nothing wrong, please. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to give gifts, whether it's on a special occasion or whatnot. But me, myself, so long ago decided, one, I'm not going to let society tell me when I'm going to give a gift to someone. Two, I want it to mean something. And again, not belittling other people's way of life, but when I give a gift, it's because I know it's going to really move that person, because it's specific to them, right? So now I've actually turned to writing haikus for people, for their special occasions, if I feel the need, or if I feel inspired. So again, it's a symbol of I'm thinking of you. I want you to know that how much I admire you, or whatever the case is. But it's coming from a place of complete and utter just gratitude and thanks that I know this person, right? And I'm hoping that they will find it as valuable as maybe a necklace I could have bought them, right? Only in the fact that it's the thought that counts. That's what matters, right? And when we see life with the idea that everything we own has a purpose and we should respect it, then we realize how important what we have matters. We don't need excess, because what we have is sufficient. And there's nothing wrong with wanting abundance. Like, who doesn't want to have as much money as Jay-Z or Bill Gates? But it comes from a place of, I live in abundance no matter what. And so I don't need excess to have me feel joy, to feel happy, that type of thing.
Gotcha.
That's a good point. So there's 2 points to this. So the money part, yes, everybody. I believe that I can talk for myself. I want abundance. I want the money, but I want the money because I can't help others without having the money to help them.
Right.
See, most of the people who have money, they give away a lot of their money,
Yeah. And they're still abundant. And
and it keeps coming, right?
it keeps coming. That's when
Because
you
they
wait.
get it. They get it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
you do want it. You shouldn't be ashamed to ask for abundance. You
Mm-hmm.
need to have it because if your heart and spirit is right, that abundance will help other people.
Yes.
It took me a while to get that in me because I thought, being humble was supposed to be the right, oh no, I just don't know. I just need, I don't need all that money. I just need this. Like I used to
Mm-hmm.
do that thinking that was supposed to be the godly thing to do. And it's
Right.
not. It's not because it's preached to you that you should want the abundance, but you do right by it.
Yes.
You do
Mm-hmm.
right by the abundance. And that's how it keeps, like Carla just said, these people money completely keep flowing
Yep.
because they're doing right by it and they respecting it. And like Cathy said, you got to respect your stuff. If you
Yeah.
respect it, then God will always give you more. If you don't
Yeah.
treat your stuff right and you don't you actually take it and you, like you said, throw it around like you don't care, do whatever with it, he's not
Mm-hmm.
going to get you to the next level because you're not ready. You're not
No.
ready. You're not ready. If you can't make your bed every day and clean your room, he's not going to give you a better room. You're not ready. Why would he give you a bigger house when you can't keep the house you have clean? You don't. What you gonna do? Just take all this stuff and plop it into a new house, and it's gonna be dirty again? Like he's like, well, you got to handle this house first, while I bless you with another one.
Yes.
You know. And the other part you were saying about the gifts, they had a show. It's one of the morning shows talking about wedding because wedding seasons is starting to come up, and they were talking about the average amount of money that people spend on other people's weddings, and it's in the hundreds, especially if you got to travel to the person's wedding.
Yeah.
It's true.
And then they said people they said that when you travel to the wedding, people are still the groom and the bride, I guess, are still looking for a gift. And they was like, well, dude, I just spent $500. I have an airplane ticket. I have an outfit. You asked me to buy this dress or this tux.
I'm
I'm
paying
at
for
this
the
wedding.
hotel. If I'm staying
I'm
somewhere.
paying. Right. I'm paying for all this stuff. I'm at your wedding, and I'm still got to. They still expecting a gift. So I think that what you were just saying, how people should not, you kind of like need to do it on your spirit and your heart,
Mm-hmm.
not because people are expecting
Mm-hmm.
to get something.
Right.
I don't know if you're familiar with the book, the five love languages.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So if someone's love language is in fact gift giving,
Yes.
okay, that's fine. But that's how they share their love.
Right.
But be respectful of other people's love language. Understand enough about them to realize, okay, once I get that gift from them, I may not need it, but I'm going to gratefully accept it. And then it's okay to recycle it, like give it to someone else, give it to a charity. But the thought was there. You gave it gratitude because you respect what you get and have. And if you don't require it anymore, it's not of use to you, get rid of it. It's okay. No worries.
It's okay. So when I saw that article, I was just like, not article, I saw it on the TV show, and the people were talking about it, and it was like really funny because now I'm thinking in what you're saying and how the gifts are supposed to be, and not supposed to be like the world not is telling you what you need to do instead of you doing it on your own,
Right.
and making it feel heartwarmed, like it's like it came from me. That hit me. That really hit me. Because you really think that when you think about all the places you go, and you be like, "Oh, how much should I give them? We gotta give them at least $50." You ask people, "Well, how much should I give them?" Well, you gotta give at least $50. Because that's like the given rate. Like when you go to a wedding, you gotta at least give them $50.
Yeah, because you got to think about per plate per person. Guess how much you need for your plate to eat, and all of this crap goes into it. It's like it's maniacal. It really is.
It's like, well, this is a fancy spot, so yeah, they need
And we have chicken and steak. And then they had this candy bar. So I was like, per person, maybe 75 by week.
Maybe 75.
Yeah, plate for my plate. Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's okay if you feel that in your spirit to do. But
Yeah.
if you doing it because you feel like if I don't, they're gonna look at me like, oh, she only gave 50 and everybody else gave 75. Like, what's wrong
Right.
with you? And that's what Cathy's saying. She released that belief of how the world's telling you what you should do. And if I want to give you 200, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. But like you said, good point. If you're a gift, if your language is gifts,
It's
it's
not a
gonna be
problem.
very important to you. That's
Yeah.
gonna be very important to get that money. You're like, well, that you don't love me because you only give me 50 or 25, but everybody else gave me 50, so your love for me is less.
Right. But you don't know people's circumstances, especially when they're in the wedding. It's a lot.
It is, and you know, and it's so much with, especially with weddings, it's so much. The gifts and the money and what you have to do in the weddings is a lot. It's a lot of exchanging.
Yeah.
Yes.
To say we support your union, you got to prove it with money.
Ain't that something?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, yeah, I'm gonna think about things a little differently. That's what I love about Let's Talk, because like we all leaned in, like Carla's like, we all leaned in. Because it's like we learn. Because I never thought of it in that I never thought of it in that way, of like how you do that. That's amazing. I'm glad you brought that up. And being a good steward, it's amazing how people want, and don't want to do nothing to get. They just want it. They don't put in the effort to show that you're appreciated and you're grateful for what you already have.
Yes.
You're not even grateful. And believe me, I know, because I just walk through life. Not saying I wasn't grateful, but I didn't really acknowledge the gratefulness. I didn't acknowledge it. I just kind of like autopilot, like it's going to be here. It's going to, and now I realize like everything's not just going to be here. Like everybody is not going to just have it. Like things could change in a matter of minutes. So I'm grateful for everything, especially like my health is amazingly. I'm just like, woof. I'm so grateful for my health, because I've been through it. Because I understand. And sometimes you got to kind of go through things to realize that how important things really are and what things are not important.
Right. Exactly.
And I really believe that. So, but I want to thank you, Cathy. This has been a great show. I just want to do a couple things before we close out today. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you watch this show again, because it does teach you a lot about how you should conduct your life when it comes to being grateful, organizing, decluttering, cleaning your home, getting rid of things, living with less, living more, and living with less. I like that.
That's it. That is it.
That's it right there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it right there. So, do you have any last tips, Cathy, you want to give the Let's Talk family about getting started with their new lives and decluttering?
Maybe the tip, we've touched on it so much, it's just the idea of really honing in on the gratitude, because I think that all of us realize that when we know what it feels like to have gratitude, and when we have gratitude, everything else seems a little bit less difficult. And so I really believe that when we can grasp, if we're feeling joy and gratitude, everything else becomes a lot easier. So I have a morning ritual. I've since 2010. I don't even remember who told me, but I take a body stretch, and I do it twice, from the head to my toe, back down. But it serves two purposes. I'm giving grace to God that He let me wake up in the morning. But two, it's actually like a body scan. But I'm grateful because I'm like, okay, I'm feeling everything's working. Okay, yeah, we're good. We're gonna get up now. So gratitude can help heal and help in so many different ways. And when we really cultivate our gratitude practice, it becomes a lot easier to live on a daily basis with more abundance in your life.
All right. Perfect. So we'll go to the next segment, and we're going to do our sponsorships. And so our show was sponsored by P. Ann's, and this is a catering company. They're located in Durham, North Carolina, but they do travel. They do everything from weddings to just luncheons to bridal showers, baby showers, anything you name it. PN's is the place to call. So you have the information here. And if you're interested, for some reason, if you forget it, Let's Talk is on Facebook. We on Instagram. We on Pinterest. We have a website. So you can always contact us at Let's Talk 1943, and we'll get that information to you. So thank you so much for supporting our show. And this is Leroy Morton Business, and thank you so much for supporting our show. Next up is Bring Out Your Sponge. This is my book that I'm very proud of, and we have a workshop as well as a upcoming course. A course is going to be coming up in probably in a month, that it comes and works and coincides with the book. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to help you bring out those insecurities, the low self-esteem. It's going to absorb new ideas, processes, and new belief systems. So like I did last time, if you're interested in winning a Ring Out Your Sponge book, if you want to comment, Ring Out Your Sponge, and if whoever's the first person will be able to get a book, and I'll send it straight to you, autographed and everything. So if you're interested, just go ahead and write it in the comments, Ring Out Your Sponge, and I'll get that sent over to you. And the sponsorship that we were just talking about, anyone who has a business or a product that wants to be sponsored on our lovely show, Let's Talk 1943, you could just email me at letstalk1943@gmail.com or any of our platforms, and send us an inbox or DM, and we'll go ahead and send you over a Google form to fill out. It's very simple, and you just pay $15, and I will advertise your business like I just did with PNs, and we will definitely support your business and you supporting us, and we do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, all right, and we are on podcast as well. We're on Anchor. So if you have any of the platforms, Apple, Google, Breaker, any of those, you just look up Let's Talk 1943. See how simple I made it? Everything is Let's Talk 1943. You look us up on that. You can actually listen to us as you go to work, listen to us around the house, as you're cleaning. As you're cleaning, you can listen to us and catch up on all our episodes if you haven't seen all our episodes, because we have been on for over a year now. So we have a lot of episodes, so you can go ahead and catch up on that. And our next show is going to be actually the best of, because your host is going on vacation. So well needed vacation. So on the May 15th, it was going to be the best of Let's Talk. We're going to have one of our great episodes as always. And then we'll just go ahead and get ready to close up. Make sure I didn't forget anything. I think I did not. All right. So I would like to say again, Cathy, thank you so much for coming on our show. I really appreciate you. I really do. Carla, as always, love you, girl. Thank you for being here. Do you have anything you want to say, Carla, before we close out?
No, this is definitely a much needed session, or should I say show today about organization. I'm organized to a certain degree, but in the cupboards, I could use some assistance. Gina has seen this. So, so yeah, with my, I have a thing with containers, plastic containers, and my pan cabinet, is a mess. But everything else, I have a place for everything. So I get what you're saying. And I make up my bed. So
yeah, she does. I can vouch for that. Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
I
am a professional.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you have to. I'm a professional organizer as well. I've been busy with so much other things, but I am a professional organizer, and I do declutter people's homes and offices, and I can do it virtually to teach you how to do it. And as well as Cathy. And Cathy, can you please let us know how our audience can reach you?
Sure. It seems like it's scrolling, so they can reach me at my Gmail. Yes, it's still good. Email still works. But I also have a Facebook group for women who want to create a healthy relationship with anxiety and stress. And you can find it at healthyhabitsforlessanxiety.com.
All right, say it one more time. Make sure to get it.
Healthyhabitsforlessanxiety.com.
All right. Well, that's it. Well, let's talk. It's been a wonderful show. And until next time, invite a friend till we meet again. God bless. We love you. Thank you for joining us.